What is up, guys? Today we're doing our first fully fledged graphics card video review, so we're super excited about it, and we're checking out the Aorus GeForce GTX 1080 Ti Extreme Edition 11G, and we think that this might be the best GeForce GTX 1080 Ti money can buy, so let's go ahead and take a look. When it comes to GTX 1080 Ti's, Gigabyte actually offers 7 different graphics cards. Currently, in their Aorus brand, there are 4, and the card that we're reviewing today, which is the GTX 1080 Ti Extreme Edition 11G, it sits at the second spot from the bottom, which you might think, well, you know, it's not this Extreme Edition, but it actually is. The cards that sit above it, the 1080 Ti WaterForce WB and the 1080 Ti WaterForce Extreme Edition 11G, both have the same clock speed. So basically the WaterForce WB has the integrated water block, so if you're doing a custom loop, that's the card for you. And then the WaterForce Extreme Edition 11G has the integrated cooler, so it has the 120mm AO included, but all 3 cards actually have the exact same clock speed, so it all depends on kind of what setup you're looking for. So first off, let's talk about the cooling solution on the card. It's the WindForce Stack 3X, and it's made up of a large shroud on top of 3 100mm fans, and those are on top of a dual heatsink with multiple heat pipes. And then you have a large copper base plate that not only covers your GPU, but your memory as well. The reason this is called the WindForce Stack is that the fans are actually stacked on top of each other. So the 2 outer fans actually sit on top of the middle fan, and this not only allows the card to be shorter, but also provides 10% better cooling performance. Right at the center, you have an Aorus logo, and then you have 4 bars that come off from that logo, and these are actually light bars that will light up with RGB lighting. As we look at the card from the side, we can see just how thick it is. This is actually a 2.5 slot card, so it's something you're definitely going to want to keep in mind. Along the side, we do have a large Aorus logo and a fan stop indicator. Both of these will light up, and we'll show that a little bit later. We have dual 8-pin power connectors here, and the card is actually conditioned by a 12+2 power phase design. At the front of the card, there's actually a front-facing HDMI port. This is for cases that might have an internal HDMI connection or for different VR accessories. The card does have a full backplate, and it's actually pretty awesome. So on the far side, we have an Aorus logo, and that will actually light up with RGB lighting. And then right over the GPU, we do have a copper backplate, and of course it looks awesome, but it's also going to help with cooling. When it comes to display outputs on this card, we have 3 DisplayPort 1.4 ports, 2 HDMI 2.0B ports, and a single DVI-D port. When it comes to lighting on the card, it's going to work right off the bat. So when you install this card and power on your system, the lights will turn on, and you don't need any software for the lights to actually work. So there are 3 main lighting zones on this card. First, on the back of the card, you have that large Aorus logo that lights up, and then across the side of the card, you have another Aorus logo, and then finally, you have those light bars that sit above your fans. Now, if you want to be able to control the LEDs on the card, you're going to need to download the Aorus software. In it, there is an LED section, and in there, you can do different things like turn the LEDs completely on or off, adjust the brightness up or down, and select different styles. Now, this also gives you the ability to sync this with other Gigabyte devices. So if you have a Gigabyte motherboard or something like that, you can match the RGB LEDs on that board with the card itself. I was a little bit bummed though that I wasn't able to individually control each different LED section. The software is also where you're going to be able to change the different modes of the card. By default, the card ships in its gaming mode, which is a base clock of 1607 MHz and a boost up to 721 MHz. There's also a higher clocked OC mode, and that puts your base at 1632 and your boost at 1746. There's a silent mode, which of course clock things down. And then finally, there's a user mode that you can go in and change the different settings and make your own boost and bass and all that kind of stuff. Now we come to benchmarking, and we're going to be testing 5 different cards, all of which happen to be NVIDIA cards. We don't have any AMD cards on hand, so we can't test and compare those cards. But this should give you a really good idea of where this sits in the NVIDIA 10 series stack. Looking at our benchmarks and game tests, you can see this card really kicked ass. Now, as a general rule of thumb, the GTX 1080 Ti is going to be your best bet when it comes to a single GPU graphics card. It's going to have better performance than anything else that's out there, even AMD's new Vega graphics card. Now, this card specifically will have a higher overclock, so it's factory overclock, so you get even better performance. And on top of that, you have the awesome cooling solution, which is the WindForce Stack 3X. I can't say enough about it. It is super quiet and it keeps this card really cool. And then finally, as I always say, 2017 is the year of RGB. So we have 3 different RGB sections on this board, all of which can be controlled via software. Now, this card is going to carry a premium, say, over a stock GTX 1080 Ti, but I feel it's really worth it. The extra overclock, the better cooling, and of course, the RGB lighting. Also, Aorus does back this card with a 4-year warranty, so you have peace of mind when you're buying it. Now, I'll have the link below to our full written review, which has even more tests than what we showed you here and everything like that, guys. And if you did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you enjoy our tech content, go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, catch you guys later.